Grab your shirt today. Look.
Style. Style is the answer to everything. Fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous.
You remember when you were a kid and it was dark in your room and you felt a little scared, so you pulled the blanket over you, like you might have heard a noise or you saw a shadow and you thought it was the boogeyman. And so you thought that blanket was a cloak of invisibility, like the boogeyman could no longer see you, like as if he ran in the room and he was like, oh, I'm about to get you. Then you put the blanket over you and he's like, oh, damn, where'd you go? You know what I'm saying? Like the boogeyman can still see us.
I don't care if she's 87. I don't care if she's 89. I don't care if she's 97. Because at the end of the day, I know Miss Mamie, as I call her, died not knowing if her son was ever going to get justice.
A remarkable fall in full view in that courthouse today. The 81-year-old Cosby handcuffed, being led away there.
Tonight, Bill Cosby is spending his first night behind bars after emerging from the courtroom in handcuffs today, sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison.
We've got justice. Did you ever think that this day was going to come?
I dreamt of this day for 32 years. 32 years. 32 years.
If you know me, you know exactly what I'm about to say. Energy. Keep that same energy. What's up? They got to keep that same energy. Keep the same energy I have for Bill Cosby. I don't want to hear that she's 80-something years old. I don't want to hear any of that. She needs to be making big rocks into little rocks. Or whatever they do in jail. She needs to be doing that. I need to see Carolyn Bryant on the next season or reboot of Orange is the New Black. I'm not preoccupied with the past, right? Like I don't live life right now trying to rehash the past, but the past often gives us a blueprint and dictates our future and also our present. And so we have to be very careful not to just act like the past is the past and leave it there.
So today we're demanding that Ray County, we want her arrested. That's our goal today. That they work in unison with Mississippi. Mississippi, we're asking you to execute the warrant. Execute the warrant so that they can come to Raleigh. Or Raleigh will transport her back to Mississippi so that at least that the family of Emmett Till can get some justice. The blood is on your hands if you don't do anything about this.
Okay? The past is not Vegas. What happens in the past doesn't stay in the past. It doesn't. And so we have to stop operating like that. That's why the past keeps repeating itself. We're going to stay in this time loop. We're going to stay in this loop of ludicrousy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy to me how we keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. The insanity has to stop. It has to stop. And silence is compliance. If we keep on allowing it, like a lot of people think that if they don't speak on certain situations or they just close their eyes, it's just going to go away. No, it's not. It's not going to go away because an injustice to one should be an injustice to all, right? Right? That's how America works, right? So why is it selective? We are gathered here today to talk about a very important development in our past, our present, and our future. Today, we're going to talk about an arrest warrant in Emmett Till case that was found in Mississippi court basement after 67 years. Think about that for a second. An arrest warrant was found in a basement in Mississippi. Mississippi, M-I, cricket letter I,
letter I, humpback, I.
It was found in Mississippi after 67 years. Now think about 67 years ago and what Mississippi looked like 67 years ago. Think about it. Right? But imagine Mississippi when white women lie. Imagine that. Because that's exactly what happened to Emmett Till. And for anybody that's not aware, that is how Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood specifically, Black Wall Street, that was the catalyst of Black Wall Street being destroyed. That was the catalyst of Black Wall Street being destroyed. It was a white woman who decided to lie on a black man. Those weren't the only two cases that resulted in multiple black people dying or one black person being unjustly killed, murdered. At the false accusation of a white woman, because the justice was in the hands of the white mobs that ruled the land. And this is just a history lesson because I don't want it to get lost. I don't want it to get lost in the sauce and then we repeat the same thing. So for all the future generations, whatever they try to teach y'all when I'm gone, when I'm transitioned from this earth, go back and look at this video. And then don't just take my word for it. Go back and look. If they don't burn all the books and all the history, go back and look at that. And you'll see that I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So we don't want is for history to be lost. We don't want disinformation and misinformation to reign supreme. We don't. Because that's how they get to repeat the same bullshit that they have been doing for generation after generation after generation. And we're not going to allow it to happen. And so we're going to make sure that the truth stays out here so that we understand our past to help us navigate our present and to help us move into the future. All right, so arrest warrant in Emmett Till case found in Mississippi court basement after 67 years. Now, if you're not familiar with this case, I encourage you to go do a little bit of research and figure out what it's all about. We're going to talk a little bit about this and why it's important to us now and why it's important to us in the future. Okay, so I want y'all to picture this. Imagine that there was an arrest warrant for Rob Naylor Jr. Do y'all think that said arrest warrant would be lost and that the police would just be like, we lost it. Oh, well, guess he's a free man. Or would they reprint that junk so quick that I would be in handcuffs before the ink dry? I will be in handcuffs before the ink even dries on the paper, right? Or am I tripping? So walk with me. Okay, so the arrest warrant was lost and found 67 years later in the basement, right? All right, cool. Not cool, but all right, let's keep going. Advocate and filmmaker Keith Beaucamp believes there may be more to find. Of course there's more to find, sir. We know that. They like to hide stuff, especially because of how the case went when Carolyn Bryant's husband and his hood rat friends were arrested, indicted, and found not guilty by an all-white jury. Surprised? Not so much, right? All right. So this is why today, that's why it's important that today we understand that when there's an injustice, you know, when they bring forth an indictment, when they deal with, you know, different people like that, when they bring forth an indictment, I don't get excited about that. You know why? Because my past has taught me that an indictment is not a guilty verdict. So I'm not about to celebrate and blow up balloons and all of that stuff and scream, you know, to the high heavens about that. I'm not. So boom, advocates and some relatives of Emmett Till are pushing for the arrest of Carolyn Bryant Donham after finding an unserved arrest warrant for kidnapping, an attached affidavit from Moses Wright, and court minutes from 1955 in the basement of a LaFleur County courthouse. Now, 1955, contrary to a lot of people's beliefs, we are not that far removed from 1955. My dad was born in 1955. And my dad still goes to the gym every day and lifts probably more weights than a lot of people way younger, probably half even my age lift. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's not act like that's so long ago. A lot of people like to act as if we are so far removed from this stuff, man. This lady Carolyn Bryant still walking around living her best life. Like, oh man, she's 80 something years old, man. No, no. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy, because y'all done had that same energy for Bill Cosby. Oh, she's 80 something years old. So she can carry her ass on to jail just like y'all sent Bill Cosby to jail at 81. Yeah, keep that same energy. I hope she gets arrested, thrown in jail, and they throw away the key. I don't care how old she is. Justice is justice. Justice doesn't have an expiration date. And oh, by the way, guess what? Even though, for anybody questioning the validity of that arrest warrant, it still stands until she's been arrested. There's no statute of limitations on that.
Jason Keith with Keith and Associates. So Jason, the Till family wants law enforcement to serve Miss Carolyn Bryant Donham with the current warrant. Could this actually happen?
Actually, it actually can happen. The warrant was actually issued in Mississippi, and assuming that the warrant hasn't been dissolved and that it's still active, the warrant actually should and could be served by North Carolina law enforcement officers.
So there's not a statute of limitation on that case then?
Mississippi law governs, but for the most part, generally no. Stale warrants are usually served. They usually stay alive until they're actually served on the individual in the cases.
Until that arrest warrant has been carried out, it doesn't matter if it's been sitting there for 5 years, 10 years, or 67 years.
Carolyn Bryant Donham set off the case in August 1955 by accusing the 14-year-old Till of making improper advances at a store in Mississippi.
Right now, she is in her 80s and most recently known to live right here in North Carolina.
So what would generally happen is Mississippi would send a warrant to North Carolina. North Carolina would respond by issuing a warrant on behalf of Mississippi upon Ms. Donham, because Mississippi is the actual issuing state that actually wants Ms. Donham to actually report back and potentially be held accountable for crimes.
She still needs to go to jail. All right. Let's see. Let's scroll down. Look how happy they are. Aw, we're found not guilty of murder, even though we murdered. Yay. That was just like the way of the world back in the day. I say back in the day, but not so far back in the day, because shit, it's still like that now. George Zimmerman. All right. In 1955, 21-year-old Carolyn Bryant accused the teenager who was visiting from Chicago of whistling at her after leaving a store, Bryant's grocery and meat market. Till was later abducted from his great uncle Moses Wright's home by Carolyn Bryant's husband, Roy Bryant, and his half-brother, J.W. Millam. I guess that's how you pronounce his last name. But that's them right there, smiling, smoking a cigar. You know what I'm saying? What does that say? After their acquittal in the Emmett Till trial, defendant Roy Bryant on the right, and he smokes a cigar as his wife happily embraces him and his half brother. That's her. That's her. Now listen, I want y'all to understand her, that evil soul, she's only sorry because she got caught. If you've seen anything more recent, matter of fact, in the she's only sorry because she got caught. She says she has sympathy, whatever, because she got caught, whatever. All right, so boom. And his wife, jubilation. Even though they know they murdered Emmett Till, they smile in jubilation. You know why? Because they don't see it as if they killed a human being. They don't see it as that. For whistling, allegedly. All right, so this is only the tip of the iceberg, Camp says. I want people to understand that this is not a complicated case, and it's not. I thought it was impossible to get the case reopened in 2004, but it happened, yes. And I believe it was reopened in 2017 as well. I'm not reading from the article, but I believe from my research, it was opened in 2017. I don't care how old she is. Keep that same energy y'all have for Bill Cosby. That's justice. And I'm not defending Bill Cosby. That's not even why we're here. That's a whole nother subject. But what my point is, I don't care how old she is. We didn't have sympathy for Bill Cosby being locked up at the age of 81. Let's not have sympathy for her getting locked up at the age of 80, whatever she is. She needs to go to jail. Throw away the key. She need to be lined up nut to butt with all the other inmates. I'm not angry. Don't take my passion as anger. I'm just talking for real. All right. The two men were indicted on kidnapping and murder charges. And I'm laughing because it's funny, because I just think about me. If I was indicted on kidnapping and murder charges, I would not be later smiling, smoking a cigar, acquitted. I wouldn't be. Later acquitted by an all-white jury. An all-white jury. Let's think about an all-white jury in 1955 in Mississippi. What would their mindset be? Were they out for justice for Emmett Till? I don't even think I need to answer that. I think you know the answer to that. Keep that same energy y'all have for Bill Cosby. 2017 reinvestigation of Emmett Till's murder. They closed that case in December 2021. So they reopened it after that initial 2004 reopening of the investigation. They reopened it again and closed it in 2021. So this is an ongoing thing, but it should not be this difficult. We need to send a message that it doesn't matter how long you live. If you commit a hate crime, eventually the law will catch up to you. But we don't want to keep raising our hopes just to have them dashed again if it's not going to lead to justice. But guess what? I'm going to erase that last part because we're going to manifest the correct outcome this time. We're going to say she's going to jail. Okay, but how do we make sure this happens as a people? I know you're probably sitting at home thinking, you're probably sitting there watching this thinking, well, how can I help? How can I make a difference?
Who do we need to reach out to and lobby to get them to actually do this?
Good question.
But keep applying pressure to the legislature and the people and the officials in Mississippi. North Carolina is not going to actually respond to a warrant or execution of a warrant unless Mississippi asks them to. If the warrant is still alive, it hasn't been dissolved, it's still if the warrant is still there, they can just ask law enforcement officers in North Carolina to serve it, and they will actually serve Ms. Donham and potentially have her arrested.
And so that's how you can make a difference. That's how I can make a difference. That's how we can make a difference. We have to send a message that no matter how long it's been, justice will be served. No matter what, because it sets the precedence that, hey, this is not allowed. This is not going to be accepted. Not in our country, not under our noses. Not because, believe it or not, there's a lot more Carol Bryants running around here right now, but we just call them Karen. We just call them Karen and we make a joke of it, whatever the case may be. But Carolyn Bryant is Karen. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn.
It's the same person, different avatar. And we have to understand that. And we have to stop that. Because if we want the world to be a better place for our future generations, we have to speak up. We can't allow things like this to happen. We can't allow Carolyn Bryant to sit here and walk free. She needs to be held accountable.
Reverend Sharpton taught me that innocent blood cries from the grave. And I think this is a sign of that. Be it 50 years, be it 70 years, be it 100 years. I believe that innocent blood is crying from the grave for America to do something about it.
The past and Las Vegas are not synonymous. What happens in the past does not stay in the past. Keep that same energy.
I send you a message from Dr. Malik Zulu-Shabazz, who had said that if they don't arrest her in due time, then next Wednesday they will pay a visit to Wake County. That date is Wednesday, and that is the new Black Panther movement.
Love y'all. Peace.